Now listen close, for love stories rarely begin with love. Sometimes they begin with a woman who is whole in herself, sitting beneath a wide African moon with adventure stirred like heat behind her ribs. She was not searching for a man. She was searching for experience, for the unknown path, the taste of elsewhere, the call of destiny. Yet desire, even when quiet, hums like a drum beneath the skin. And on the night before she left her homeland, a strange omen crossed her door. A goddess whispered through dreamlight, "The vultures come to witness." But the woman only smiled, thinking it a riddle, thinking vultures meant transformation or ancestors watching, not realizing love goddesses have sisters with claws, not realizing blessings sometimes arrive dressed as lessons. She packed her bags with excitement, donned her power like fine cloth, and stepped onto foreign soil glowing with promise. The land greeted her like old memory. Heat kissed her shoulders. Drums echoed like deja vu. She walked with confidence, a spider's daughter, weaver of fate, master of her own story. Then she saw him, tall, carved from earth and river, strong, but shy-eyed like a boy pretending at manhood. His smile was sunlight on water, and when he looked at her, something ancient stirred in her belly, something she remembered without ever knowing. She thought, I know this one. I have loved him across lifetimes. And lust rose like thunder in her blood. A golden spider lowered from the rafters beside her ear and whispered a silk-thin warning. If you weave with desire alone, you may catch a shadow and call it love. But desire is a powerful storyteller. She brushed the warning aside like smoke and followed the pulse between her legs instead of the wisdom between her ears. For gods do not always send husbands as blessings. Sometimes they send them as mirrors. He was everything her body remembered. The warmth of a shared bed, the promise of strong arms, that foolish glitter in the belly called hope. They spoke little, but they touched much. His presence was a hunger she had been starved of for 20 years. He handed her coconuts, fed her pieces of fruit with his fingers like initiation, and she thought, perhaps the goddess has rewarded me. Perhaps this is my return. But shadows have soft hands, too. He watched her like a man startled by magic, a little afraid, but wanting more. And she, brilliant, powerful, world-traveling woman, felt the tug of something she hadn't felt in decades, infatuation. She forgot the omen, forgot the vultures, forgot that goddesses love to test the daughters they adore. So she wove her web from lust and laughter, strong enough to hold a dream, but too fragile to hold a man. In the bright beginning, she did not notice the threads tightening. She didn't notice how often she reached for him first, how she bent herself to fit his silence, how she explained her mind while he explained nothing. Desire blurred the truth like steam on glass. He smiled, and she shivered. He held her hips, and she forgot caution. When they lay together, she felt alive, the kind of alive that makes a woman believe lust is love dressed in new shoes. But spiders know better. The golden one returned night after night, quiet at the edge of her vision, web shimmering like truth in candlelight. Child, it whispered, lessons are sweeter wrapped in pleasure, but do not mistake sweetness for sustenance. Still, she lusted anyway. Still, she wove threads of expectation into a man unprepared to carry them. For passion is a spark, beautiful, wild, but it cannot cook a lifetime's meal. It was not his fault, not entirely. He was kind in small ways. He fetched things when she asked. He brought warm hands, shy affection, gestures instead of language. A boy trying on the coat of a husband. But she needed more than hands. She needed connection, conversation, depth, the meeting of two spirits, not just two bodies. She found herself speaking into silence, teaching instead of receiving, loving forward instead of loving mutually. The web she spun from desire now held her like a captive moon, and he, sweet, simple, earthbound man, did not even see the threads wrapped around her heart. The spider finally spoke plainly. Love built from longing is like a house made of morning mist, beautiful, shimmering, and gone by midday. She sat under that same moon where everything began, and this time she listened. She saw the truth without bitterness. She had been given a husband, not as blessing, but as lesson. Not to break her, but to teach her boundaries, self-worth, discernment, and the difference between being chosen and choosing wisely. She kept the man, yes, but not because he earned her. She kept him because the lesson was not yet complete, because sometimes spirit ties us to experience until we learn the language within it. And in that knowing, she smiled, a powerful woman reclaiming her gaze. For love is not weakness, desire is not shame, but unexamined longing is a web easy to drown in. So let this be remembered. When a goddess daughter meets a man and her belly trembles like thunder, she must ask whether she is weaving love or weaving a lesson wearing a handsome face. The beginning was beautiful, the middle intoxicating, but the end would one day rise like moonlight, revealing missing pieces she refused to see. And so our tale begins not with happily ever after, but with a woman powerful enough to walk into love, eyes open, and still learn. For some stories do not close like fairy tales. Some arrive to shape us, soften us, sharpen us. Some husbands are not gifts, but teachers dressed in desire. And the woman, wiser now, will one day look back and say, I do not regret the web, only how tightly I wrapped myself inside it. She was given a husband as a lesson, and she, shining daughter of the moon, would pass the lesson forward to the next woman who forgets her worth. To remind her, choose as a goddess, not as a lonely heart. Now listen here. Every lesson don't come dressed as punishment. Some come dressed as love. That spider didn't weave wrong. She just wove too fast, used longing instead of patience, hope instead of sight. And that man, he wasn't sent to ruin her. He was sent to teach her. See, desire can spin silk so fine you forget to check whether the web holds weight. You start thinking effort is the same as intention. It ain't. A spider learns by feeling vibration, and sooner or later she felt it, that tug that said, this isn't feeding you. Keeping him wasn't failure, it was curriculum. Because once you learn how a trap feels, you don't confuse it with a home again. So don't shame the spider for loving. Love is never the mistake. Staying too long after the lesson is finished, that's where folks trip. When she cut the silk and stepped free, she didn't lose a husband. She gained discernment. And baby, discernment is the sharpest tool a woman can carry.